Welcome to the weekly watch of February 23rd, 2013.
14.
Shut up, Nathan.
14.
Just because you're right, Nathan, doesn't mean you have to just shout.
Man, isn't it crazy? We've been doing this for over a year now.
Inconsistently.
I mean, but like a few weeks, maybe is probably the biggest break we've ever taken.
What about the 2 months we took a break?
Yeah, we only did like 2 over summer.
Did we really?
Yeah, we kind of just dropped
really?
the ball
We were
there.
doing like 1 a month during summer.
Oh, wasn't that because I was back home and we just stopped when I was home?
We just
Well, I had
yeah.
my finals, and then you had your
Oh,
finals.
yeah.
So
we
it was
had,
like a
the
3-week
series of
period where we
finals.
were just on finals. And then once
Yeah.
you came back, we kind of did like 1 show, and that was it.
Which reminds me, I'm gonna be pretty swamped for a while after this.
Okay.
I'm your host, Darkly10000, and with me, as you can already hear, is both Truman and Nathan.
Hooray!
Right here.
And what did we watch this week, guys? I'm smiling.
I know you're smiling, so why don't you say it? You're smiling.
But it's I
Just say it. Just say it.
the Majestic Princes.
Well,
Just-
okay. The first, I think I can summarize the whole show in just it's really, really pretty. It is a very pretty show. There were a lot of very bright colors, and there was explosions and lasers, and it was a very pretty show.
And space and stars.
Very much. All the enemy fleets had their own signature color, very bright neon color. It's a very pretty show.
That's the only way to run your army. You have to divide your army by generals and give them bright neon colors to fly through space with.
Obviously.
Oh.
Also, today's the first week that I remember to actually write down my complaints with the show, which were
Oh.
plentiful, because the
What?
storyline was subpar. Being generous, the story was subpar.
Well then, why don't you just fire off your complaints then?
Okay. It was just okay. The very first thing, they introduced the characters and here, oh man, these guys are the worst people at this academy. You know what we should do? Immediately in episode 1, give them the next top of the line mechs with no explanation why. Hey, you 5, the worst people at this school, are gonna go into live combat for the first time with our brand new top of the line mech robots.
But that fight was so
Boom.
awesome. That fight was incredibly awesome. And it won me over with that one fight.
And I will give you, the fight was very pretty, but it was stupid as
but it worked,
shit.
And it worked great. And it worked great with the theme song for it going on, because there's that hard rock vibe going with it, and I just was blown away by that.
Explain why they picked those 5 for half the series. The first half of the series, they never tell you why they picked the 5 worst people at the school. They never even say it until halfway through, and you just find out, oh, by the way, the mechs were made from their DNA in passing. I don't think they actually even tell them. They just mention it to each other in passing once, and then that's it. That's the explanation. That's why they were picked, just because the robots were made from their DNA.
Didn't you remember the scene with Commander Simon where he's like, well, these 5, they got really good potential, but they can't work together. But if they start working together, they'll be amazing.
Yeah, but
And
they
they
didn't. They just gave
amazing.
them they gave them the experimental best robots ever that they own, and on the off chance that'll make them work together better, which it didn't. If you remember, it didn't at all. They still were awful at it.
Yeah.
It was just ooh, what? It didn't make any sense to me. Okay, and then I'm just boom. I'm gonna shoot right into it. Okay, with my little rant of why this. It is watchable for just the colors alone.
Yep.
But that is it.
No, after the first couple episodes, I kind of just stopped caring about the plot and was like, I want to see stuff blow up.
Dude,
Exactly.
explosions!
That's all it is. Okay, the girls, the two girls are useless. Um, First, the tactician girl literally could be just the person in the ship. There's no reason for her to be there at all. There really is none.
There's the sense of
Like,
combat out there. She gets even better communication in the middle of
doesn't make-
combat.
But the worst part is they have the person in the ship tell an order, and then the girl will just say it again, but then she'll just say it again, oh, I've done the calculations, and now there's no reason she existed. Like her purpose was just confusing and irrelevant. And then the other girl, at the very end, there's I think a total of 3 times when she does any sort of attack other than she just will fly and then just start shooting missiles at random. And then 2 or 3 times she has this weird laser thing, which she only uses in the final battle, and then one other time she shoots the little spread laser thing.
She does that all off camera.
Other than that, all she literally does is fly. That's all she does is just fly quickly.
But she flies really fast.
Of the episode.
She flies really quickly and rams the littlest enemies.
Yeah, is she done? She will ram 1 or 2 of the smallest enemies and then say funny shit. That's all she does. That is her purpose in 80% of this show.
But she's supposed to break up their formations. That's what she does.
Which she just boom, there she flew by. She's definitely flying, and that's it. You'll see her flying, oh, they're in the background, there she's flying, and that's all. That's it. And then you'll see the one shot, which they reuse actually the same shot a few times of her flying forward, and the missiles fly out, and that's it. That's
oh, yeah, no, that was the only missile scene you see with her. Is that one animation. They use it 3 times, but that's the only one.
Yeah, they use it a lot.
Before your next argument, before your next thing, I do want to say just something that always got me pumped up, just right before the battle, and it's just every time their ships, or their suits were getting ready to go out, it's all they have the whole animation that they always play, it's like a Power Rangers transformation. And I just love that every time.
See, that annoyed me. It's
dude, really? I was oh, here they go.
I don't need to see this every time.
You're probably the same person who says you don't need to see a magical girl transformation every time.
I mean, I'm on Jay's side for this. I get it. It was part of the prettiness factor. They all are flying and they're powering up and they're blasting off. Okay, I get it. This is a visual show.
I want to say this. I would have actually, while watching it, I was why don't they just divide the screen into 5 areas or whatever, and do all 5 of them at once, and cut out the part where they hey, the youngest girl, the one that flies really fast, here's just an ass shot.
I did love. It was always just boom, here's a butt shot. Boom, you'll like it because it's fan service every single time. And it was actually, it got to the point where it was just silly. It was just hey, you viewer, here's a picture of this girl's butt. You're welcome.
I think every time they made that scene slightly longer.
We're going to increase the length of this scene by 0.01 for every episode.
Man, it was some pretty funny stuff. It was just silly. I'll be right back.
Do you have any complaints?
She's supposed to be 15 years old. They say that in the show. And she's the fan service.
They do that all the time. That's just the Japanese anime thing. It's always really creepy when they do it too. You got Yoko Littner and so on. Yoko Littner being the worst offender of it.
But how often do they actually say how old they are?
High school?
You can go, okay, things with high school, you can go, well, maybe they're 18.
Freshmen in high school. There's so many freshmen in high school fan service shows.
Okay, but how many have I watched?
I have no idea. Because I
don't
have
that many.
He's complaining about 15-year-olds and ass shots. And I'm saying that happens all the time.
Just welcome to anime at this point. I mean, Nate, shouldn't even bother you at this point.
My problem is like, yeah, they do it all the time, but it's like they don't actually give their age.
You know, Asuka from Evangelion's 14, right?
Is that the? Is that the
red hair girl?
The tsundere.
Yeah, she's 14. You just gotta, when it comes to anime, you just gotta you just put the whole age thing just out of your head completely. You gotta just ignore it.
I don't feel like that was that bad though. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's been a little while. I don't remember it being that bad.
I mean, I guess it was more the fans afterwards that kind of massively sexualized her, but
probably.
I mean, they got to the point where I don't remember if you ever watched the movie. There's a whole scene in the movie that I read or someone told me. I don't remember where I learned this. That apparently they added to the movie about Asuka, which was basically because the creator was just basically angry at fans that over sexualizing this 14-year-old girl.
Okay. So. Okay. Really, with this show, the one we watched.
Yeah.
I'm willing to go. Okay, you know what? Whatever. It's a half a second of her crouched over. Whatever.
Boom. Okay.
What really annoyed me was the swimsuit shot when they did the commercial for the Star Rose or whatever it was called.
Oh, I mean, wasn't that like in the post credits?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it wasn't that.
What?
Like, it wasn't a major emphasis. Like, yes, that was a whole fan service scene in general, but they didn't even do the actual swimsuit. They didn't actually do the swimsuit. I mean the whole episode, the whole them going to various places and dressing up as nurses and other stuff. All that stuff is fan service.
Yeah, I know. But that was just bad.
I mean, that was there. It was blatant fan. The whole episode was a fan service episode, and
I know
it was post credits. I mean, if it's post credits, it's not really story relevant. I would say.
The thing is,
it's like an OVA. You know, it's not. You can't judge a show based on an OVA. The OVA is just this extra thing. That's what I would say.
I don't know. It's just I saw because I usually watch after the credits. That went for 5 seconds. I was like, no, this is
can't do it.
I can't. This is too much.
So that's where Nathan draws the line.
Did you see? Okay, well, Jay, you didn't watch it.
It's been like half a year since I've seen the show.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. I didn't think it was. It wasn't awful. There's
a 6-inch gap between under her breast
and
where the swimsuit is.
what I want to say about this show is that
I think we're getting back away from the main point, which is all I thought when I saw the ship battles was, man, I should really get back to watching Legend of Galactic Heroes instead of this.
Really?
Because the ship battles in this, it was just like there were ship battles. At first I was like, oh, cool, ship battles. But really, it was the same shot of the ships the human ships lined up, and they're firing lasers, and then nothing happens. And then the other ships are firing their lasers, and nothing happens. But then there's also explosions. It was also not pieced together, you know?
And the ships didn't do a damn thing.
And the people up top are they start firing lasers, and then you see human ships just blowing up willy-nilly. It got to the point why are you actually using these ships? They literally, as far as I can tell, they never did a single thing except get blown up en masse by the other ships.
Yep.
That's the only thing I think they ever did.
You gotta look at it more of a Gundam perspective. Where ships are always useless.
But, see, the thing is, they were still technically viable. They technically did something. In this one, they made it clear in episode 1 that you...
I might have lost connection. Or Truman lost connection.
Okay, so what was the last you guys heard me say? Because I kind of went off into a rant.
Okay, we started talking about the ships,
Yeah.
and you were going, they were completely worthless. I agreed with you. And Jay was like, you
Okay,
have to look at them from a Gundam perspective.
Okay. Well, what I said after that was even in Gundam, ships technically did something.
When?
In this one, I mean, technically, the whatever they did, shot missile lasers, whatever, technically could destroy stuff. In episode 1 of the show, they made it very clear that the lasers that the human ships shot were locked by the shields that the Volcro ships had. In episode 1, they made it clear that lasers the humans had were useless. That was episode 1 that happened.
But they made new things.
But they never say anything. They never once said, "Oh, we upgraded the ship's lasers." Literally, one line of dialogue is all it would have been required for me to say, "Okay, fine, it was just shitty." Like it, but no. They literally episode 1, they were useless. They made it clear that they were absolutely useless.
The only ship that ever does anything is the Gardenian. That was the only ship.
That one. Oh, that's the ship that can actually do anything.
Okay. Fair point.
They were just there to make pretty laser lights.
And explosions.
Okay. And explode. They were also there to explode a lot. Because all they did is just explode. Like, explode from the enemy ships. Explode from, like, the rain of fire from up above, which they just had absolutely no defense to. They just sat there exploding. I think the worst thing possible is, it's like worse than a prison sentence, is to be a person on one of those ships.
Yep.
Just, after that, okay, wait, here's one thing that really bugged me. The fight with the purple guy, Klein.
Yeah. Klein. Yeah.
Whatever his name is. You guys remember they're on the planet, so they're fighting him. And, you got 2 or 3 of the guys fighting him, and then the sniper guy, he's off in the back and like, hey, we're going to give you this massive gun. It's like, you'll take him out. So, they do the whole scene, they get him, they're like, boom, we hit him, he's on the ground, he flies away, the sniper guy fires, shoots the super blast, hits him, and I'm like, okay, cool, good. Nope, not good. It does nothing to him. Nothing. So the fight continues. I'm like, okay, fine, fight continues. What happens next is they go to and they start just beating the shit out of the guy Klein. They beat him down, like they just beat the shit out of him. And
No,
he's like,
I love that scene because they just
he's
keep
clearly
stabbing him with the
beaten.
swords.
Yeah, they're stabbing him with swords. They're beating the shit out of him. They pin him down, and then they use the laser. It's like,
No. They pin him down, they eject, blow up one of the suits, then use the laser.
No. Okay, what they do is they keep stabbing
exactly.
him. They pin him to the ground with the swords. Then the purple girl, the Tamaki,
Yeah,
the
and
speed girl.
It's Rose. It's Rose.
Yeah, Rose, whatever, but Tamaki, that's her name. She jets at him where he is on the ground, ejects from her boosters. The boosters crash into him, and they fire the laser, which doesn't kill him. It blows up the boosters that destroy him.
It was all just so unnecessary. Why did they just keep stabbing him? That obviously worked. He was obviously on the ground beaten. They just had to finish him off. But instead what they did is back away, destroy one of their own ships, and then almost destroy 2 more when the gun exploded because it overcharged.
No,
it was just
it nearly
all
destroyed
so
all of
pointless.
theirs. It nearly destroyed all their mechs. All of them.
Yeah, it was just all so pointless. I was just like, why did they do that? He was on the ground being stabbed by 2 different people. Why did they do that?
Clearly working. Like we were seeing them go through and like ship fluids gush everywhere.
And like they beat him the first time without doing that. Why was the thing so necessary? It was why?
And that was the same weapon they used at the end, I think. Like a different model, but the same type of gun. Thanks.
Yeah, I think something like that. Also, I just wanted to bring up the Black 60 had the same weapon that we were making fun of from Jormungand. Pistols with knives at the end.
but it's a mech now. It makes more sense.
No, it doesn't. It's still dual pistols with a knife at the end. Also, this is just the first something. It bugged me that, like, the blue guy, his mech was like he was the close combat samurai mech. Yet all he ever did was sit with, like, his little cannon gun and just shoot. That's all he ever did. He used his sword, like, maybe 5 times in the whole show. Like, all he'd ever do is just, like, fly around shooting with his cannon. Like, what? You're supposed to, like, they make it clear in the first episode that, like, you're the close combat specialist, but he like, never did. He never was the close combat specialist.
And Red 5 was the one that got in all the close combat.
Yeah, and he was, like, they make it clear the first episode, or the first major duel, because that's not supposed to happen, because they say, why isn't he using his guns? Like, he's supposed to be using his guns. Why is he not? So, like, everyone's all, like, confused. And then, nope, he's now the close combat expert.
I love this show.
It was so dumb. And the only other thing, this wasn't really a complaint, was just the major death flags. It's like, oh, I'm gonna ask her out as soon as we finish this mission.
It's not an anime without death flags.
They even made a joke about the death flags earlier. But then the guy who, like, warned them about the death flags earlier is then the one just laying off just, like, major death flags. It was so insanely how obvious those death flags were. It was like the picture of, like, the World War II soldiers putting up the flag, but it was like just death flag. Just death flag is what's going up, very obviously. Man. And I think that's it for me.
I wanted to say that this show reminds me of Star Driver, but being less pretentious.
And I think that's a very apt comparison. Star Driver, but less pretentious. And if you remember correctly, I gave Star Driver a 1.
But you loved Star Driver until it was being pretentious as balls.
I love Star Driver. Yeah, I loved Star Driver for like 5 episodes, and then it just like went from like a cool show into like I can't understand what's going on. It's beyond confusing, and the storyline is stupid as fuck.
It's like
that's what it devolved into.
But Star Driver is just a lot like this show because of all the pretty ass explosions that you just had to keep watching it all the way through.
I mean, but it's all it was pretty explosions, and
sometimes
I'll give you.
Sometimes that's all a show needs.
And okay, should we go into ratings? Just because I'll just finish off my sentence since I was going to say.
I want to say something.
Okay.
You had the problem with Blue not being the combat specialist, yeah, and purple, or was it pink? The
pink.
command girl, the command girl.
Oh yeah, it's purple.
Purple, okay. She didn't really need to be out there.
Yeah,
I want to bring up the fact that the sniper guy, except for like the few moments when he has like a specialized weapon, he's only hitting enemies when everyone else is hitting enemies.
I mean, I was gonna give his character the benefit of the doubt because at least they say, hey, he's just staying in the back, but he is shooting people.
He fulfills his role as
him
the backup firepower.
Yeah.
But it annoys me that it's like, oh man, look at all these things are dying. I'm gonna snipe off 3 while you guys kill hundreds of them. Oh, you guys aren't able to kill any of them? Here, let me help you out. Oh wait, they're dodging all my shots.
he was not.
He did his job,
useful,
but he didn't need to be there except for those few moments when they're like, use the super gun to snipe them or whatever. We'll link you to our weapon system, and you can just shoot them with all the ship's weapons.
Which that's all that the last 2 battles. That's what they did. I'm like, why isn't he just a ship member there? Why isn't he just on this ship? Like, he was not great, but he wasn't as bad to me as the other 2. That's why I brought up the other 2.
No, but I just wanted to bring up that point that He's supposed to
He
be a
was also
crack
not
shot
great.
sniper, and when he needed, like, when you would really want your crack shot to do stuff, when you're not winning and you need to turn the tide, he couldn't get a shot off.
Yeah, exactly.
So favorite characters?
They were all so boring. Like, I can't think of one character that stood out in, like, a good way.
I like the main character.
Oh God, you would, Jay. That would
Yeah.
be your favorite character.
Dude, he wants to be a hero.
I'm gonna go with what's his name?
Blue Pilot, one of the main ones.
Actually, here, Nate, you go. I'll be right back.
Okay. From the main team of the main five, I liked Asagi, the blue pilot. Like, he wasn't the close combat specialist he was supposed to be, but I don't know. I just liked him more than the rest.
That's because he's the Blue Ranger.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I did notice that they had a very Sentai feel to them.
He's the Blue Ranger. Red's the Red Ranger.
And yeah, I like
it's Sentai in space.
Of the five, I like the blue.
I'm
overall,
gonna say the black guy.
Angie.
Was it a guy?
Yeah,
They made a joke about that for a while, but I don't remember if it was Saul.
They never
continue throughout the whole day.
So it's like
they make it very. They obviously stay away from ever saying whether it's a guy or a girl.
So it's like Corona.
Yeah, pretty much. They make it a point to continuously never point out if it's a guy or girl.
But my favorite character overall was the leader of the Doberman team.
The porn guy?
Yep.
Oh, God damn it.
I love that scene the second time they're watching porn. And Angie comes in and it's like, why'd you turn it off? It had me exhilarated.
Yeah. I did actually like the part where, like, oh, well, you can easily figure out if it's a guy or a girl by just showing him porn, and then depending on his reaction, you'll know. And that they actually ended up doing that, but they still never clarified if it was a guy or a girl.
Yeah.
So, now scores. Is it score time yet?
It's score time.
Okay. Nate, would you like to do the honors, or Jay? Jay, as the one person I think who liked this show, would you like to go first?
I gave it an 8. It was just so awesome. The hype and the explosions.
I don't understand how you could have watched this like every week, like just back to back. Like I would have just dropped it. I would have just been like, I'm so fucking bored of this show.
Because
like,
I started getting like lazier towards the second half of it because they changed the opening, and that opening really got me pumped every time.
Oh man. Okay, Nate.
I give it a 6. Yeah, 6.
A 6.
Once I started watching it to see all the pretty colors and explosions and the fighting, it wasn't that bad. But the plot is stupid and the characters don't fulfill the roles they're supposed to fulfill.
I gave it a 4. Just the plot was stupid. The characters, just nothing made sense. Like as soon as you gave half a moment to think about what was going on, none of it made any sense.
The stupid, like,
get.
I hated the enemies when they're like, "Oh my genes are tingling." You've inflamed the passions of my DNA. What the hell?
Or how they would retreat. They would just retreat. They'd all just retreat immediately, just for no reason. Like something would happen that was like just tactically insignificant, and they'd be like, "All right, we're out, we're done." It's like, what? You were about to win. Like they're all about to be beaten, and then they're just like, you know what? No, let's all retreat immediately right now. It's like, what? I gave it a 4.
You have to remember,
it's a show.
They can't fight for very long. They need cartridges.
It was just. It was
they
bring
that up like twice.
If the story was as good as the show was pretty, it'd probably be, I think, the visuals, I would say get a 7 or 8. Probably an 8. Just the story is easily a 2 or 3. To show 4. I can't recommend it to anyone, so it just has to be a 4.
I don't know. I could recommend this to like kids.
I could recommend this to everyone, especially if you like
You
mechs.
shouldn't.
Like if you like giant mechs, if you like Zoids, if you like Gundam, if you like,
You really
robots
shouldn't, because
fighting.
I enjoy those. I enjoy mech animes. I enjoyed Zoids. I enjoyed all the things you listed. So I was hopeful when I was going into this show. I could not stand this show. I mean, couldn't stand it. It was just so, It had just nothing to it. So, 4.
Like this is a show where I'd rather just have it like on a screen in the background, so that I didn't have to pay attention to it, but I could look over and like see explosions and stuff. And I remember when Truman, I remember you saying if they could just cut out all the parts where they aren't in their mechs.
Yeah, it'd be a much better show.
I agree with that.
Like, if they just stopped pretending to have an actual story and just had only mech fights, just looping mech fights.
So you're saying like my dream for Black Rock Shooter?
I guess, yeah, pretty much. Except not, little girls, but trying to robots
it's like
space. But yeah,
just all the battle scenes, pretty much.
just battle scenes.
Not the high school bullshit life.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty bad. I still haven't seen it.
So let's move on to the weekly watch.
All right.
With the hypest of the hype, Kill la Kill.
Wow, this was the episode that just changed everything.
It's finally time to just be like, fuck yeah, humanity. And just, humanity has to fight to the end.
And I saw it a while ago. Nate, you just finished it. Did they actually give a time on what the time leap was?
I think it was a month.
Hold on. I felt like it was only like a week.
Well, it was enough for all the 3-star ultimate uniforms to, degrade.
But you got to remember how fast this show goes.
It was either a month or a week. It wasn't more.
I would say it's probably a month. I think it probably would have been a month, not a week. Yeah, I mean, it was just like boom. So all the 3-star Devas are in Nudist Beach. Okay, something I was gonna bring that was just really funny is just so the whole scene where they're all in like Ryuko's room, Mako's family, and then just like the Nudist Beach guy is every single scene with those two groups together. Mako's mom is just staring at the Nudist Beach guy's crotch, and like online they made a bunch of jokes about that because it was really funny how obvious it was.
No, so you know how like parts of his body were glowing like purplish?
Yeah,
like his nipples and I think his crotch was.
Nipples. Yeah.
You can see like purple dots on the wife's hair while she stares at him.
Oh yeah, it's really funny just how boom, into his crotch Mako's mom is, which that was just funny. And so what we thought was going to happen with them getting Satsuki did not happen, and instead Satsuki is captured, which was really sad.
She blew up the whole school.
Which was so awesome. Just blowing up the entire school. Although, I mean, they kind of made it clear she's going to escape next episode. So, that's going to happen. So, the one thing that's kind of up for debate is what's going to happen. Is she going to steal Genketsu, whatever it's called, her god robe, and the scissor blade, and then escape? Or just escape immediately, and then who knows what happens?
I think she's actually going to remain a prisoner.
You think no, I mean, they showed her... Did you remember the scene? She broke her big toenail, and her under her big toenail is a shard of her sword.
I don't think that's going to be enough to get out.
I think that's definitely how she's going to.
It's like,
Now. I mean, they wouldn't have showed it if that's not how she breaks out.
But they also had the whole like big factory that Nui's working on, a giant robe, and they said that they're probably. And they said that they're probably going to have or put Satsuki in it to try and pilot it and control her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I am standing by. They wouldn't have shown the toenail blade if she's not going to escape next episode. That's what I'm calling.
I feel she's going to try, but fail.
You think try but fail?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. And then the other big thing was Ryoko just saying she's not going to wear Senketsu anymore.
She's super powerful now.
And she's super powerful. Well, now she knows that she's a life fiber monster.
As she puts it.
Exactly. I mean, how else would you put it?
So I want to see the rekindling of their friendship between the uniform and Ryuko. I can't believe I forgot its name.
Well,
Senketsu.
Yeah.
You guys are overlooking the biggest thing in this.
I saw it a week ago now, so go.
Gamagori and...
Gamagori pretty much proposed.
Oh yeah, the whole Gamagori and Mako. Boom. That ship has sailed, That train has left the station. That's
no longer speculation. That's no longer speculation.
That is a thing now. Exactly. That is official at this point. Boom. Gamagori X Mako is official, which is just big news.
I love when he comes into the hospital room or whatever, the infirmary. He takes up half the room.
He's giant. He's like a gas. He swells to his container.
And he's just like, I swear on my body and my soul I will save her.
Man.
Which he does. A lot faster than I expected.
He does.
And then Ryuko comes out and it's just like...
Yeah, I saw it. At this point, I've seen it a week ago. Nate, do you have any other...
No, I think you covered everything.
Gotcha.
Everyone's a nudist beach. Everyone's a nudist.
Yep.
Man, the just right now the fan art is just flooded with actually the big flood of fan art right now is Satsuki and Ryuko being sisters. That's the major fan art flood right now.
Of course.
I don't get why you look at fan art.
I follow the fan stuff that's going on with the show.
Yeah.
Okay, so next show. There's no Samurai Flamenco this week.
God, which I'm so sad about.
No,
Samurai Flamenco is just about
it is a good place to take a break.
That question burning in the back of everyone's mind.
What is flamenco?
Yes. So we go on to Super Sonico. So this is the episode.
Nate, would you like to...
This is the episode where it determines if Sonico can hold up an episode almost by herself. And I do not think she can.
That's what I've been saying the entire time.
No,
if you're
okay.
gonna have a slice of life show, make it about a group of people, not just one. Or if it is just one, make sure they're an interesting character, which she isn't.
Okay, it was a travel episode. A bunch of the scenes were just silent. It was just stuff happening. It was a travel episode. Even
the woman
just...
she meets on the bus. In that 2-minute span where she's there, 2 to 3 minutes, I was more interested in her story than what was going to happen to Sonico.
Hey man, just because you weren't excited about her trip to find herself in where she went.
Are you saying you didn't want to see Sonico travel the country doing nothing? with no real goal
Exactly.
at all.
You should have known what you were getting into.
They took 2/3 of an episode for her to make a bead.
Because that was important. That was showing her independence and ability.
Truman, you can't win this. This episode was boring.
This episode,
Oh,
you know what they should have done?
the episode was very boring. I'm not.
You know what they should have done?
It was a very boring episode.
Had the first 3/4 of the episode in about 5 minutes, then have like a 10-15 minute episode, part of the episode, where she was lost in the forest. Because that could have been interesting. Like her freaking out and like running from shit she was afraid of. And then comes out and then there's the clearing with the beautiful sky and the people all having fun. And it's like, oh,
but Nate,
wow.
you would have been all butthurt if it was like, oh, she's just running around a forest for 10 minutes. This show can never live up to your expectations, Nate. You'd have been just as butthurt. Like, she was just in a forest for 10 minutes scared. This was crap. That's what you would have said.
No, if she would have actually been doing something in the forest. I'm sorry, but I don't find making a bead very interesting. Her running around in the forest, running from bears or something would have been fun.
I mean, she did for like a minute.
No, she ran from a raccoon.
No, she ran towards a raccoon.
No, she tripped, dropped her phone, heard some scurrying, looked towards the sound, and a raccoon stepped forward, and then she was like, oh, okay, and walked away.
Overall, very mellow episode.
Very mellow.
Of
I will agree
nothing
with that.
and extremely boring.
Super boring.
Does make me want to go just randomly travel. I've always had that dream of just like, for 1 month, just turn off your phone and just leave. Don't tell anyone.
See, boom.
Jay was inspired
by it. Jay was inspired by it, Nate.
No, I've had that idea way before this show.
The show just reminded him.
But it rekindled that inspiration in you.
I'm not gonna go do it. I'm too poor. So, next show is Space Dandy. How do you top Time God?
You really can't. I was kind of bored with this episode, actually.
This episode was really boring, and I liked the second half more when fleas got involved and just caused chaos.
Like, this episode, it felt like they were trying to do something similar to the one with the little girl alien, but it wasn't anywhere near as good.
I do like the ending where it's like, oh, we can warp.
Yeah, that part was pretty funny, but
it's like, well, why aren't we trying to warp from this? And as they warp, you just see the other ship come right in. The fucking Empire.
I thought in general, though, I thought the episode was kind of boring.
Yeah.
No, it was pretty boring. Like, I don't know, it felt like they tried to do an emotional thing.
Not too well, though.
But they didn't have like the quirkiness or
it just wasn't
build up the
Space
relationship like they did in the one with the little girl alien.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was distracted because like they had the whole thing with the flea at the end, at the second half of it. It wasn't a complete episode. I felt like, oh, it's kind of sweet, but oh, it's already over.
I do like the idea of seeing the flea's point of view. And how they're just like, the first time they show up, they're just sitting in a field of what looks like wheat, and you're like, where the fuck are we?
That was pretty fun. I thought both, like, they could have had a whole episode about the dog. They could have had a whole episode about the fleas. They did neither, and I think it didn't work out because of that, you know?
Well, okay, I think there's a problem with the dog in that it's hard for them to talk to the dog. Like, they can use the whatever it's called, the language translator thing, yeah. But, like, the dog can't, like, yell for help or anything unless Dandy's right there with the translator. So...
Also, dog episodes don't normally work when the dog talks.
What? Of course they do. Because the dog gets to tell his story.
That's not really a dog. episode thing.
Oh, are you saying this wasn't a dog episode then?
It's not a good one.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, this Spaced In it kind of let me down.
Yeah.
So hopefully next week is like last week.
Norigami.
So I finally watched episode 7.
Yeah.
And then the OVA.
And episode
And I
8
think I'm
hasn't
done
been
trying
out
to-
yet.
Yeah, I think I'm done trying to wait for the FFF subs because it's just taking forever.
So-
Shall we discuss episode 7 or the OVA?
7.
Let's go 7 first.
Okay.
Yukine's a
Seven?
bitch.
Yeah, Yukini's just a bitch, like even longer.
Yeah,
like
of
he's
course.
still just a massive bitch.
It's constantly a bitch.
Like in
And
this
now-
one, this was basically the explanation of what Nora is, which she's
Yeah. that's
Nora
right.
isn't her name, it's a thing, but
It's basically the word for whore.
kinda. It's kind
It's
of
the
just
word for god whore weapon.
It's kind of just god whore. It's pretty much what it is. So.
Uh,
Other than like that, it was like that, and then Yukine being more of a bitch. Like that was pretty much the episode.
well, yeah, but now that we know what she is, we know what Yato used her for.
Which is killing the other regalia.
Yeah, he used her to kill the other regalia.
I mean,
Yeah.
things I liked about this episode was like Yato not giving up on Yukine, because man, that's not someone I would put up with, really.
I mean, God, he's such a pain in the ass. Okay, and here's the biggest thing that bugs me. No one is explaining it to him. They even explained it like they've explained it to the girl. They've explained it like a few times, but they don't actually explain it to Yukine. And I think he would probably be less of a bitch if he understood that his being just a pain in the ass bitch is going to kill Yato. I think if anyone told him that, that'd probably help a little bit at least.
Yeah.
But no one has. Like, just no one says anything to him.
That's because he keeps running away, and
He
Yato's
does
not going to
keep
do it
running
because
away.
Yato's not going to do it because he's got this whole "you need to obey me" kind of thing going on, and I shouldn't have to really give you a reason. But
He kind of reminds me of you, Jay. He kind of just expects these things that he doesn't, mention, and is just very annoying and hard to deal with.
oh, that's probably why I like Yato.
I like Yato, but
But here's to episode 8 where Yukine stops being a bitch.
probably not going to happen.
I hope it does.
Probably not going to happen, honestly.
Less of a bitch then.
Okay, he might become
Honestly,
less of a bitch, but I feel
he
like
might
he's always.
stop running away. He's still going to be a bitch, though. Maybe he'll stop running, like actively running away constantly.
Yeah.
But the OVA,
The OVA was amazing.
Okay, what time period was the OVA supposed to be in? 'Cause
obvious.
It was her first day of school, but they were still like they'd done like all the stuff. The people had been introduced. That everyone was there, but it was her first
It was
day
her
of
first
school.
day of
But she
high
was already
school.
in.
No, I think she was in middle school, and at the beginning of the show.
Was she? I didn't think so.
Does it really matter that much? It's an OVA.
I mean, that was the big thing that bothered me. The time period of it didn't make any sense.
I don't know. Like I just assumed she was in middle school prior, like when they first meet.
I really don't think so.
A lot of OVAs and usually like anime movies for long series they just go like, timeline, what's that? And just chuck it out the window. Watch any Bleach movie. It's
definitely
fucking
what happens
ridiculous.
It's 100%. I think that's definitely what happened. They're just like timeline out the window.
And so then you're just going along with the ride, and the ride of this OVA was awesome, because Yato just takes over the body and just causes chaos.
You mean cause
it
is
was pretty
awesome?
Awesome chaos.
I Actually, one thing I wanted to bring up is that I did really like the poverty god in both episodes, 7 and the OVA. I thought the poverty god was great. That's just in general.
I love how like the
She's
old.
probably gonna be.
I love
She's
how
gonna
the
be my
old
favorite
wisdom
character
god.
at the end of this.
I love how the old wisdom god's like, "Don't worry, I'll come here to help." And then it's like, "Oh, that's a cool looking guy. Hi, ladies."
Yeah.
Immediately is useless.
Yep, pretty much. Other than that, I mean, I don't think not a whole lot happened. It was kind of just they're running around.
See, if they committed the
Jeez.
OVA to part of the timeline, she'd have a broken shoulder.
That is true.
I mean, but they obviously didn't, being the fact that I think she was in school before having met them. So yeah.
Gods are wacky people.
All right, what's next?
That's it for the normal series. I mean, besides Nisekoi, if you gotta bring something up.
There's Nisekoi. We're all watching Nisekoi. Might as well bring that up. So yeah, this is the start of stuff I haven't seen before for Nisekoi.
So you never actually got to... Oh god, I forgot her name.
Sashiru or something like that.
This girl. I'd never seen her before. Although, I mean, it wasn't that hard to guess. She was a trap. Reverse trap.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious.
Was it because all the girls actually have these dazzling eyes kind of going on?
A little bit, and then just a little bit of the fact that, like, if you bring it, like, they brought it up at the beginning, and if you bring it up at all, it's probably actually a girl. Although honestly, they did throw me for a loop for a while. I did question whether or not it was a girl or a guy when she was all like, "Oh no, I'm like," when she started going off about how she should be the one to be with blonde girl and how they made the promise. I'm like, oh, maybe she is a guy. But
Oh, what the hell is that?
I don't know. I'm kind of what?
You're making noises.
There's loud
Oh, my bad.
scraping noises.
Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop with the loud scraping noises.
This episode kind of reminds me of around episode 5 of Nyan Koi, which was that anime of the high schooler who was cursed by cats.
Yeah, the other reverse trap.
Yeah, it's really similar in that idea. And there's
obvious.
still Yakuza in that one too.
That's true too. It's actually pretty much the same.
It's really strange.
The one was like a mob boss, or mob boss's daughter, and she was just a hitman.
I think it became apparent to me that she was a girl when they're like, "Don't you remember bathing together when we were younger?"
Well, that's a normal thing in Japan.
Okay, maybe it's
more normal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. My 100% tip off was when she started getting angry about not being considered manly. And at that point, I was like, oh, okay, definitely a girl.
But so now, Truman, you're in uncharted territories. You don't know what's coming next.
That's true. I am in uncharted territories right now. So, yeah.
And
That's exciting.
And it still doesn't have like a max number of episodes on my stuff.
Yeah, same here. So it might go up to 24 then, 20s. So
yeah,
that's kind of cool.
So, are there any other shows you want to bring up?
The Zvezda show, the treasure hunting arc ended in a very strange way.
I'm not even sure what really happened.
Well, obviously she was possessed by the Udo, which I think is a plant, and then turned into like some giant demon-possessed giant. Then conquered the school, and then return to normal. That's what happened.
I got the broad picture. It was a bit bizarre.
Honestly,
More bizarre than normally.
I'm loving Zerut. Zerut is, I think, my favorite show of this season. Like, not continuation from last season, because I love Kill and Flamenco. Not including those two. Like, out of the other shows I'm watching, I think Zerut is my favorite. It's the one I look forward to the most every week.
And then in Witchcraft Works, you got to see something really cool that utterly turned out to be useless.
What was that?
The Fire Witch combining with Medusa to share their power and look awesome and get ready for this cool fight, and then just get beaten. Just like nothing.
I was very confused as to why the Fire Witch would like fuse with Medusa.
For
Medusa
a cool costume change.
I mean, I guess for a costume change. I guess that really is the reason. I did love at the end where she's like, so why are you fighting me? It's like, what do you mean why? Like, why are we fighting? Oh, that was all necessary. Which I think Witchcraft Works is okay. I was thinking it'd be a lot worse than it's ended up being.
Yeah.
What else? We got anything else?
That's it.
That is it.
Unless you want
to... Chew 2.
Of course.
We gotta bring up just we have to bring up the burnt remains after the train wreck that is Chew 2. And yeah, this was the Rival Appears episode, in which the pink-haired girl says, "Oh no, I did like him, but then I decided to not like him." And she's obviously going to change her mind at another point in time.
I totally trust her to not change her mind. God damn it, that means I'm watching the show.
Wait. So you think this is the end of any kind of problems between her and the girls?
Besides Rika getting jealous, I don't think the red-haired girl's gonna go back.
Huh. Okay. I'm calling that, like, the final 2 episodes of the series of this season is going to be like her trying to win him over, and then Rita just standing around, doing whatever she does now, and somehow it looking like she's going to win him over, but really she's never going to, because this show is dead set in making sure the concrete framework of season 1 doesn't change whatsoever.
I hate this show.
It's so awful. I despise season 2.
I hate the fact that I'm still watching it.
You have to. You have to just keep watching it, and just like it's like watching, like, just people. It's like the train wreck metaphor. It's like watching the people crawl out of the burning train. It's like you shouldn't, but you have to see to the end, until everyone's carted away. You have to just put your nose to the grindstone and just keep watching.
Well, that's it for the weekly watch this week. Tune in next week when we are watching Truman.
Oh, yeah. So, it's my pick. So, I'm going to be really busy for a while. So, you guys are going to watch Kimi no Todoke, which is another shoujo anime, mainly because we missed our Valentine's Day special. So, this is what it's going to be.
Okay.
Yep,
it's still the month. It's still the month of love.
It's still February, so it may be late, but boom, this is going to be the Valentine's Day special.
All right, I'm Darkly 10,000. Goodbye.
All right, bye.